Hey, how you guys doing? This is producer from Brothers Comics. Playoffs? Playoffs? Absolutely, y'all. It's Who Dey Over 40 versus the playoffs as your Cincinnati Bengals have qualified as the AFC North champions.
Champions.
Champions, and they are going to host the Las Vegas Raiders this weekend on Saturday. Uh Introductions right off the bat. Hotch, what's going on, man?
Hey, I haven't been here in 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a long. You know what? We have to talk about that too. Shouts out Sam, man. We miss you, brother. We love you. We
Happy
know you're
New
going to be
Year.
back on here. Yeah, soon enough. Soon enough. All right. So, um, let's set the show before we do anything else. We're going to wrap up the season with that 21-16 loss to the Browns.
That was
Um,
that was a preseason game for
yeah,
sure.
we're going to wrap up. We're going to recap our predictions on the season from podcast number 1 from this season up until today. We're going to look at some end of the year awards, MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. And we're going to grade the coaches, the head coach and the defense coordinator, because, Zach calls the plays. So he's technically the offensive coordinator too, and the defense coordinator. So we're going to look at that. And then we're going to do a look ahead and a look back at the Raiders game. We're going to look back to week 11, where the Bengals defeated the Raiders already in a game that was 32-19. It was much closer than that as I watched the recap earlier this afternoon. And then we'll look ahead to Saturday at 4:30, where the Bengals are going to host and kind of see what we think are some of the keys to the game. And yeah, man, I'm hyped. You know me, I'm generally kind of low key on these things and nervous. Got what we call tuss, tore up stomach for these particular games.
That's a
For
different way.
these games,
Some
but
people call it bubble gut, but
yeah,
sure.
sure. But I feel pretty good about this game. But I don't want to jump into that too much. All right, let's get into it really, really fast. Um, Bengals backups lose to the Browns backups, man, 21-16 this past Sunday. Um, Finished 10-7. It was a game that really came down to the end, an onside kick, and probably the Bengals do come back and win that game within the last 2 minutes. They left Joe Burrow at home. They didn't even let him travel. It's like, you know what? We're good. Send out Brandon Allen and the rest of the clowns to play the clowns.
But they're not clowns, but yes, the job was done by Team A. Yes, Team B, it's your turn to mop up.
Right. Yeah. It was just, they sent them there. Joe Burrow didn't travel. DJ Reader didn't even travel as well. I mean, they weren't really taking any chances.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What's your thoughts on this? The thing is there every single year. Do you play your people to ride your momentum into the playoffs, or do you rest your people to give them the time off? Where do you usually fall in this category? Because the Bengals could have gotten, some things fell in their place where they possibly could have moved up had they won the game, but they didn't win.
When I looked at the other games, that mofo from Green Bay was playing, and they had nothing to play for.
Right. Yeah, he played for the first half, I think.
Yeah, the GOAT, he was playing. Granted, they were playing for second place or fourth or something like that. So if them blankety blanks are playing and Mr. the rapist, he was playing, but he was playing for his career.
Right.
If the people that are going to the Hall of Fame in 5 to 7 years are out there, if you want, hey, you want that gold jacket, you might want to be out there too.
I think it's more so that they were playing, he does get dinged up at the end of the Chiefs game, so you don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk the Browns trying to play super spoiler as well. Like if it wasn't a division game, you don't want to play super spoiler by somebody going out there and taking out somebody's knee. There were a couple of injuries in the game. Josh Tupu, he's not going to be playing. He's week to week, aren't we all? With a knee injury. Ricardo Allen is in concussion protocol. Hakeem Adeniji, he's back at practice today, but he got, his knee kind of got rolled up. It was a little bit rough for that.
The game is rough, and yes, and we have taken the injury bug, and man, that shit is in my head too. Yeah. I see Chris Henry. I see our quarterback on the ground on the first play.
Second offensive play.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it on the other side too, because if you go out there, I mean, Brandon Allen took a shot. I don't know if it was from Clowney or from the other one. He took a shot, and he took a shot, and wouldn't want to see Burrow getting blowed up like that either.
Right.
I mean, so like I get both sides of the coin, and you'll have to see. The Bengals were obviously rolling heading into that game, and you take that week off. Do you lose some of your momentum? We'll find out on Saturday.
That's the worst time to find out. I do not want to see this meme on Saturday at 7 or 8 o'clock.
Okay, that's fair if you're on the YouTube. It's the Jordan crying meme. The Jamar Chase does. They get him in the game for, I think, for 2 plays. He gets the single season record, breaking Chad Johnson's record.
Now that wasn't that kind of cheap?
Not really. I didn't find it cheap at all. Honestly, I thought that was like he came in and said he was going to break these records, and he needed 26 yards to do it. It wasn't like he needed 80 yards. It wasn't like that kind of situation. Trying to get the scoring title and then putting up 45 shots. In a meaningless NBA game at the end. Yes, the game was meaningless, but it was 26 yards. I didn't think it was much. So he goes and gets that. He breaks the record. The funniest part about that, for me is, I think Chad was in year 6 or 7 when he did that. And Jamar Chase is in year 1. Different league completely.
It's a different league.
Throwing, defense, and everything. But,
right.
I mean, it's still impressive.
It is impressive. I thought he was going to go for the all-time rookie record. He could have took that from his friend, too.
Yeah, I mean, and that would have been, having Joe Burrow having to be in the game probably for that to happen.
They needed like 80-something or 60-something.
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was, if you talk about taking the shot, hell, if I'm Denzel Ward or somebody, I would have took it.
He didn't play, but yes, I understand what you're saying. There's that spoiler, whatever, ability to just blow somebody up for no reason was there. I mean, I think Mike Hilton got speared in his back for the helmet from on an interception. Like it's just you're playing with fire in that situation. It's probably not a great idea. So all right. So that's that. Let's go back and look at our predictions. And we kind of touched on this a little bit, but last week's show, I had them finishing 11-6. So I'm off by a game. You had them finishing 9-8. So
sure wasn't 8-9?
8-9, excuse me. So what do you think the difference was for the Bengals this season to go from, obviously Joe Burrow and Jamar are beastly, but what other main difference do you think it was that got them to go from, they're only going to win 4 games this season to getting double-digit wins? And honestly, should have been more, where they should have beaten the Jets, the Bears, etc. So, go ahead. What do you think was the main difference outside of Chase and Joe Burrow?
I think, as far as the game, I think that Minnesota game, just the setting the tone, winning that game the way they did, it was, they should have won it outright, but whatever. But they won that. They figured out a way to win that game. And once they won that game, hey, they're started on the right side of winning of the ledger, and they just kind of rode it.
Yeah.
That was, and as far as players go, the defense being able to stop the run, or that helped out a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. Like I kind of got the sense that, whether by hook, crook, just blind squirrel finding a nut, like Zach Taylor had this terrible record in 1 possession games. It's not like the Bengals were consistently getting blown out, especially in year 2, where they had Joe Burrow up for those 10 games. After that, it got a little dicey. But they were just so terrible in 1-score games. They just couldn't close and finish because nobody could rush the quarterback or somebody couldn't make a play at the end. It was just bad. And so since they were bad in that regard, the record was bad. But this year, they went past the 1-score games. Yeah, we can do that because we have a kicker that can kick it, 55 yards. There's that. But then also once the offense kind of found its footing here in the second half of the season, like, oh, we can just outscore everybody. Like, the defense is playing well enough that if we can put up 28, we can pretty much end that game, and not have to worry about it. And they went past 28 several occasions, popping the 41 on a couple of times too. So yeah, it's been a journey, to say the least. Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter today was like, "Hey, Saturday, could y'all put that game away early because my blood pressure and whatnot, not gonna be able to handle some freaking Saturday night game where it's going down to the last minute." So I definitely don't disagree.
All right. I don't either.
Yeah.
I would love, and we'll talk about it later, but the Raiders ain't gonna go out like that. I have a feeling.
Yeah, we might disagree on that one. All right, so let's get some awards. So who's your MVP? I mean, it's obviously that he's probably going to finish third in the MVP balloting in the league. So Joe Burrow has to be the MVP. Is he the MVP? My other choices are obviously Chase, and then don't undersell it. And you're not going to make him the MVP. But Evan McPherson made a huge difference for the Bengals this year. Like, absolutely huge, because anything inside of 60 is an attempt.
Except for that damn Green Bay game, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, but
you only remember the bad shit, not the good
right.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, he made, once you get over the 40-yard line, now you have a chance to score points, and that was definitely not the case under Fat Randy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That Jaguar game he came in like a champ.
Yeah.
So, but the MVP of course is Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. If you had to put the 2-star and the 3-star, Chase is probably the 2-star, and the 3-star is maybe Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's just MVP, tend to be offensive awards, so I kind of didn't put him in there, but it's coming up here on the defensive MVP. Is Trey Hendrickson your defensive MVP?
Most def.
14 and a half sacks.
Right.
I mean,
and his motor just runs, and you have to pay him attention. And I mean, and they paid him attention, and he still gets his sack or two.
And shouts out, people was like, oh, we lost Carl Lawson and his 5 sacks, and the Jets gave him damn near $60 million for 5 sacks. I'm like, oh, he had pressures. I'm like, okay, but those aren't sacks.
All right.
Oh, we're bringing in somebody like, oh, he's playing next to Cam Jordan or whatever. So, he, might have been living off his teeth, but he came in and lived up to every single word of that contract. And let's keep it real. Hubbard is okay. It's not like he was playing off somebody that was, crashing in on the other side. Hubbard, I think, wound up with 7.5 sacks, but it wasn't like there was, Von Miller on the other side.
Right. So I think the whole team ended up with 42.
44 was what I got.
And last year we had under 20. It
was 17, I think.
17.
Something crazy like that. It was low. Yeah,
right. It so yeah. Right. And one player has 14 of those.
Yeah. And a half.
Mm-hmm. And didn't play the last game.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a beast. My other considerations for defensive player of the year, Cheeto Rouzier. If you believe in all the analytic stuff, he's the highest rated corner or graded cornerback, in the NFL, not the AFC. He's the highest rated cornerback in the NFL. Correct. So there's that. Jesse Bates, who did not play well in the early part of the season. I think he readily admitted that he was thinking too much about his contract. Got a lot better in the second half of the season. And then probably unsung because of the position is DJ Reader.
No, definitely.
Him being there all season definitely had
being healthy all season.
Right. Had a major effect on their ability to not be the worst run defense team in the league. If I'm reading my stats right, I think they finished third against the run in the entire NFL. The Bengals, third against the run in the entire NFL. That's insane. The Bengals. That's something that they, even when their defenses were good, they were never good at stopping the run. So that, he's you scoffed at Cheeto, man. Like he'd be a great number 2 corner, like a great number 2, but he's our number 1. And he don't miss tackles. His run support is, like that's really been the big difference between previous years where we had cornerbacks who could maybe cover a little bit better, maybe, but couldn't tackle. William Jackson couldn't tackle. Or Dre Kirkpatrick was allergic to it. But now we got corners that can come up and tackle. Eli Apple can come up and tackle too, and they're not afraid. So if somebody bounces it to the outside, you have somebody up there that can make that tackle. So. Yeah, Trey Hendrickson, defensive MVP.
Most, yeah.
Okay. All right. What about offensive player of the year? And you can't use Joe Burrow because of, he wins the MVP. It has to be Ja'Marr Chase. Has to be.
Yeah, it has to be. Well, you take him off this team, and we kept AJ. Where are we at?
No.
6 and 11.
Maybe. But I would say I don't necessarily totally disagree with you, but T. Higgins missed essentially 3 games and still cracked 1,000 yards because he just went absolutely insane in the second half of the season. Insane.
Right.
He's having insane numbers, or 2 games where he almost, copped 200 yards. So it's a chicken and egg situation. If Chase isn't on the other side, is T blowing up like that? He almost got 1,000 yards as a rookie though, too, with Brandon Allen throwing him the ball. So
I think T. Higgins is untapped. He is. He should be. He could be the number 1 on several teams in this league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he could be, and I think I'm not right with Chase doing what he does. I think Higgins should be really lighting up folks, he should be killing. And Tyler Boyd should be lighting up folks too. They're going against the 2nd, 3rd, 4th cornerbacks on a lot of these teams.
And Tyler Boyd was, I think, like 160 yards from cracking 1,000 too. So he almost had 3 1,000-yard receivers.
Right.
That these things just don't happen. They just don't.
Not for a team that plays outside.
Mm-hmm.
Not for a team that plays outside, but in cold weather, or at least 1 or 2 months in the year, cold weather.
Yeah, T, after he got over his shoulder injury that he had, and I read something on The Athletic. He's like, once he got back to trusting the shoulder, you throw it up to him. His ability to catch contested balls, actually both of their abilities to catch contested balls.
Oh, well, most definitely. So, right. And that third and 27 play will go down in history.
Oh,
but that Higgins catch.
Yeah.
That's just
a beast.
Two crazy plays.
It's amazing that he fell to the top of the 2nd round. Like, amazing.
Right,
because, he's a complete baller at Clemson. Right. Like, a complete baller.
Right.
How the hell did he fall to 33?
I have no idea. Right.
Amazing.
He has first-round talent that, I think it was evident at Clemson. And when we got him, I thought him and Joe Burrow would be 1-2 going down the field left and right.
Right.
And they kind of were kind of, And then, but Chase, I guess I throw me into the list. I did not want Chase. We need offensive linemen, but we got Chase, and he.
Thank the Lord.
And thank the Lord. We do not have a winning season with the running or
Penny Sewell.
Right, we do not have a winning season. We are like, damn. Next year we gonna have this shit.
Well, and the worst part would have been like, oh my God, he's in freaking Miami, turn Tua and Brian Flores
that would have
it would have just been awful. Like, because we would have been having to see it, just like the Detroit fans are having to see it too.
Right.
Or mostly the Dolphins because they traded out of the spot because they were stupid.
Right.
And anyway, okay. All right. So yeah, I would definitely obviously go with Chase, but T is probably right up there because his second half when Chase was not, when he was getting all that attention and wasn't able to figure out, he had a couple of games. Oh, he had one game where he had one reception for 3 yards, which again is amazing to see that he got the 1,400 with a couple of games where he couldn't crack, 50, 60 yards.
I got the stats here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Let's look at the coaches then. So we're going to grade the coaches. What grade would you give A to F for defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo? At the end of last season, it definitely looked like he was going to get run. I was on that.
The whole coaching staff.
I mean,
was looking for new houses.
Yeah, but I mean, that last game of the season against the Ravens where they ran for 400 yards.
Woo!
And again, and I know, they were down to, shit. I didn't take that call from that 513 area code on the Bengals to see if I could suit up that day, but it was close.
You could have put anybody out there.
It didn't matter at that point. So they rushed for them 400 yards. I'm like, they got to get rid of this dude. It's just not going.
Everybody could have got fired, and I wouldn't have been upset.
No, not at all. And the whole time it was always like, he's trying to find dudes for his system. The first year you had all the Marvin hangovers, Carlos, Gino, like all those hangovers, and those dudes, weren't a part of the system of the offense that he was trying to run.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a little bit of that into season 2 as well. And, they start pairing off the pieces. Gino by injury, Carlos gets, run, William Jackson is let go at the end of that.
Thank the Lord.
They're starting to move on from people to bring in his guys. And, once he gets his guys in his system, magically this shit turns around this year. So, I don't know if it's scheme over system, scheme and system over coach, or they just fit into the pieces, or his ability to, scheme up game plans. Because we've been saying this all season long. The definite opposite of the Marvin era with this group of Bengals is their ability to make halftime adjustments. They definitely go in.
Fucking man.
They figure it out. They do something. I mean, they held the Chiefs to 3 points in the second half last week. 3 points. The Chiefs, after giving up 28.
With their starters.
Right. So I was like, how in the world did that happen? So I mean, my grade here, I gave him a B+.
Go do yours.
So I thought that, that it's quite the turnaround. I don't think we're going to be looking for, head coaching potential. So you're going to have another year with him, another year a draft and free agency to get some players into his system. And, and if they do well in that regard, then, he ain't going to be with us for much longer.
He might not be here hopefully after the Titans game. But he might be. There's 8 head coach positions out there?
No, he's good. He hasn't gotten it yet, but it's getting there. Like, again, another year system with the players, free agency. Yeah, he's definitely going to be close to getting run out of here.
No, yeah. In my grade, it's a solid B, maybe a B+. Just from where we were last year to this year, and we played a lot of good teams. And I mean, did amazing stuff. I mean, you went against Cook. You went up against Lamar. That Lamar Jackson game, that Ravens game, where
it was closer than it looked too.
Right, but they figured out a way to keep him from going over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a win.
And look at the stats. Like I said, total points per game. They were ranked 17th at 22 per game. Last year, they were 21st at 26 points per game. So you almost shaved off a whole touchdown.
Right.
The rush defense is better. Pass defense, I mean.
Just amazing numbers. And we got a pass rush. We had 1.5, 2 guys. And our pass rush, we went from damn near the worst to, the middle of the pack, which maybe a little better than that. So yeah, right. We went up against the three last NFL MVPs, and we'll take it. Right. I'll take it.
And think about it like this too. They, one of the things that they had talked about is, getting out there and being, putting out fires. They're the fire. The defense is the fire department. Like especially at the offense when the early part of the season when Joe Burrow was turning it over, like we got to go out there and put out the fire. And they've been successful at that without getting too behind the sticks because they know if they give it back to the offense, eventually that dude's gonna figure it out. Like you ain't gonna stop him forever. Right. Unless they turn the ball over, he's eventually going to figure you out. So every extra possession that they don't score a touchdown, it's to advantage to the offense for them.
Right. The number we came up with that said, hey, if you keep the team under 24 points, you'll win. And look, I got the schedule up and I got the points we gave up. And we lost it. We lost like 4 games where the team scored more than 24 points.
Right. Yeah.
And a couple of were in overtime. That Green Bay game.
Green Bay's overtime.
Right. Yeah. Green Bay's overtime.
Yes, game is just crap.
That was just crap.
That was just crap.
That Charger game and
it was right. Just a goofy fall apart in San Francisco was the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So right. And last year it was when everybody was scoring 24 points.
Correct. All right. So what do you give head coach Zach Taylor? And he had a similar situation about trying to build culture and trying to blend in the Marvin guys and bringing, keeping Andy Dalton and AJ Green and, some of those guys and trying to, blend
try to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yes, but, eventually you got to get your own guys in there. And so the Marvin guys started getting moved on, cut, benched, whatever it was, and God bless him. If you go back to winning that damn Steelers game last season, that was the catalyst for them getting to this area here, winning that game that nobody expected them to win with Ryan Finley at quarterback.
Finley, yeah.
That was proof positive that the team had bought in at that point. Yeah. And, they rolled into this season. Obviously, Joe Burrow makes everybody a better coach.
But it didn't have to be that way. It should have. Hopefully it worked out that way. But shit, you can ask the stank-ass Jets, ask the stank-ass Jaguars.
Giants. Giants, too.
Right. That number 1 pick. Hell, even the Rams right now are like, damn, that Stafford motherfucker, he could fuck us.
Shaky. Yeah.
Shaky and bakey. And he been in the motherfucker league for 10 years.
Yeah, I gave Zach a B. And the reason I still downgrade him a little bit, one, like sometimes, especially early in the season, and I don't know if it's because of Burrow's knee, the play calling was super conservative. It's like you have great wide receivers, you have a great running back, and we didn't even talk about Joe Mixon. He got 16 touchdowns, for offensive MVP. And, it was just so conservative, like early parts of the season, the whole thing online is like, let Joe cook, let him cook. You have like a really good quarterback, stop taking the ball out of his hands like you did in San Diego and against San Francisco too. You got super conservative in overtime and, instead of letting him go down there and score the touchdown and end the game. So I gave him a B, but like, again, their ability to adjust at half is, again, it's so opposite of what Marvin used to do. And that definitely gives him for it. And you got to give the nigga some ball, he got some balls on him too.
Yeah, he went for it a couple of fourth down.
Well, yeah, he ain't met a fourth down. He ain't like.
Yeah, so, he is. I want to say he kind of went on some Madden tears.
Yeah, I don't know if it's analytics or just trusting his gut, but he got some balls on him, and for the most part it worked. When it didn't, it didn't. But he as a go down, you should go down swinging, man. So I understand that agenda. So what would you give Coach Zach Taylor?
He gets a B. Another solid B. I said I had his ass shipped. I would have been, hey, you need some help moving your shit?
Right.
I'm right. I'm like, I got a fucking a damn belt. I can put it around my waist so I can lift these heavy boxes for you. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But yeah, this amazing. B. This month he went. Yeah, right. He's gonna get an extension.
Yeah, he had the backing of, we talked about this earlier in the season, like how many wins to save his job. And I think we had kind of all settled around 6, which would have been the total of that. He succeeded that, but he's got the backing of the quarterback. The quarterback wants him there. Quarterback has a obvious major influence on this whole situation. So that's it. If Joe Burrow's not happy with him, he would have been gone.
I still remember that face he made during the Charger game.
Oh no, they took the ball out of his hands.
He looked. He gave that was the Goodfellas. Was wacky.
Have you seen any of these freaking behind the scene, NFL mic'd up things? Joe Burrow is constantly talking to himself. Put the ball in my hands. Put the ball in my hands. You can't zero me. He's constantly, talking himself up and getting himself into these situations. And we're gonna get into it here in a second when we get to this playoff game. And like I said, I think we're probably gonna have a little bit of an opposite debate. Well, I don't think it's a debate. I just think we're looking at it differently. So let's go ahead. Let's go look back first and look back at week 11. The Bengals win 32-19. 32-13, excuse me, 32-13. But that game going into the fourth quarter is like
close.
It's 16-13.
Right, it's close.
And the Bengals are just barely winning. The Raiders went down and scored like in 3 plays, like 70 yards, like 2 big receptions to Darren Waller. And by the way, shout out North Cobb graduate. I just found that out during the game Sunday night. Shout out Cobb County boy. And they score, and then it's like, well, like this game is close. And the Bengals get that. The Bengals get the drive, the kickoff, and they take it right down the field, take like 8 minutes off the clock, and score a touchdown. And that pretty much ended it. Like the next drive for the Raiders ends in an interception, and then the Bengals score again, like a touchdown from Joe Mixon, and after that there's a strip sack from Trey Hendrickson. And, a field goal to tack on the end, and the game is over. So it's not like it was just like, oh, my gosh, this, the Bengals just blew them out or something like that.
It was au contraire.
Yeah, it was a very close game, even moving into the fourth quarter. So looking ahead now, that's not the same team. Again, I just watched that game today. The
Bengals and the Raiders?
Yeah, on the NFL, Game Pass. Right. So the Bengals have constantly said the Ronald Reagan offense. They got Joe Burrow under center. They're running jet sweeps. I'm like, what the hell is this offense? Remember, this is the Bengals coming off their bye out in Vegas. They had lost the 2 games to the Jets and to the Browns, where they got blown out. And they come out like super conservative. The story after the game was like, we're going to keep trying to run the ball. Eventually, we're going to break the dam will break. I think Joe Mixon went for 166.
He went
something
for 120
crazy like that.
He went for 122. Where is it?
So scroll up there.
Oh, this is the Raiders now.
Oh, that's the Raiders.
Oh, there it is. He went for Joe Mixon.
123.
Yeah, 123.
30
carries for 123 yards.
Yeah. So and 2 touchdowns, right? Yeah, one receiving and one passing. And like they were like the dam was going to break. And eventually it did. He really got yards in the second half for Joe Mixon. But look at Burrow's numbers there. It's pedestrian at best.
Right.
And 20 for 29 in an indoor stadium. It wasn't like it was a weather situation or anything like that. They just kind of took the ball out of his hands to keep him out of harm's way. Well, and maybe that's where we're looking at now. We got Max Crosby, we got Njukwe. Those dudes can come off the edge, and
they will.
you know, and when Burrow turns it over on the first drive, you know, the fire department puts them out, you know, where the Raiders had the ball inside the 10, you know, but the fire department put them out for a field goal. But, you know, you putting him in harm's way when you have two great pass rushers. And, you know, Riley Reef played that game, and now we're down to, you know, what, Isaiah Prince playing right tackle. Like, that could be particularly scary. Yeah, Ohio State's own Isaiah Prince, by the way. So what do you think about the rematch? You're saying like, oh, you know, the Raiders aren't going to roll over. I'm not saying that they're going to roll over, but I have probably a different take.
My guess is that they're going to do what they did in week 11. They're going to just rush 3 or 4, or they're going to do the Lions going to rush us, and they think they can maybe take over, beat our 5 dudes, and they might. And they're going to play deep to stop us from passing deep down the field. Mm-hmm. They're going to keep everything in front of them and play it conservative on defense. And on offense, we're going to see that damn tight end Waller get free, and that stinky white
Renfro.
Yes, that blankety blank. He'll have his moments, and that's. And I guess they'll throw Mariota in there to run. Their offense is vanilla, and they just want to if the game has bad weather and it's cold and it's windy, that helps the Raiders out more than it helps us, because we can't. I don't think we're able to throw like we want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that part. Again, I sent this all to you today. Like, all the ops are in favor of the Bengals. The only op that is not in favor of the Bengals is history. That's it.
And the offensive line.
That's fine, I guess. But all the other major things that would get this to be an issue, they all favors the Bengals. They're the home team. They're the well-rested team because they didn't play the week before.
Right.
They, you know, have the better quarterback. Like all of these things.
All those things.
Better offensive weapons.
We even got a better coach.
If the Bengals didn't have the history of not winning a game for 31 years, nobody would even think of picking a playoff game. Nobody would even think about picking the Raiders. Like, it wouldn't even be a thought, because everything, you know, I sent you that thing about, you know, their quarterback in cold weather. He's 0 for 5 in cold weather games. If it's under 20, I think 27 degrees or something like that. Like, all of that. The West Coast team traveling east, an indoor team traveling, you know, or playing outdoors in the playoff. Like, all the ops favor the Bengals. The only op that doesn't favor them is history. That's it.
And actually, hell, like I said, what the Raiders done in the last 20-some years, or they ain't won nothing since in 2003.
Right. So that would lead you to think like, oh, okay, well, what's the money line or the betting line's going to be? You know, I was listening to some other Bengal podcast on Monday, and the dude was like, oh, it's probably going to open at Pick'em. I was like, Pick'em? I was like, that's insane. That's insane. Like, I was like, oh, they're probably going to be like 3.5, 4-point favorites, and then opened at 6.5. And then you said the betting line's gone down to 5.5. I mean, those dudes in Vegas know exactly what they're doing. We're gonna put this at enough numbers where we can get money on the other side to drop that thing, and that's what they did. So if it kick off as 4, it wouldn't surprise me. So
and I've had every almost every tangible, intangible says the Bengals, and I think they will and should beat the Raiders. They shouldn't have beat the Chargers. I don't know how the hell that game was so
insane. Well, division game, but also another op for the Bengals. Oh yeah, they freaking played a 70-minute game essentially last week. So, with everything on the line.
Well, they put it all on the line, and actually,
it is the ultimate choo-choo-jizz game. They won't. How much will they even have left by the time they fly across the freaking country? It's just everything. You know, this is one of those things.
And I was gonna say, and I mean, like I said, their best receiver should be in jail.
Well, he is, or work release.
Or work, right.
And Waller came back, and he's obviously not a Hundy. He came back for that game. Right. I don't think he did much against the Chargers game. So
he did what he had to do, and it was enough. But right, so they shot their wad.
Yes,
and I believe that they're going to be. They celebrated. Mm-hmm. This is the first time. I mean, their coaches. They're coming over here to play us. It's going to be cold.
Yeah,
we're rested. I mean, the Bengals are. You got to win this shit.
This is one of those. If you go out and put up 14, 17 points in the first half, that shit is over. It's over. Like I'm telling you, they're not going to be able to like muster anything, like that. If the Bengals don't turn the ball over, they win.
Oh yeah, if the Bengals don't turn the ball over and just play their game, if Mixon was running like week 11, if Mixon gets 20 plus carries,
yes,
and 100-some yards and a touchdown or two, it's over.
Yep.
Wrap this fish up.
Yes. And so, I mean, that's kind of where it is with me. Like I don't bet, I don't gamble, I don't know but I don't know anything other than the fact that, hey man, if the Bengals are the better team here, nobody's going to deny that. They're the home team. They're supposed to win.
They're supposed to win.
The only reason that we're like, is because of history. That's it.
And none of these dudes
matter. Yeah.
But none of these dudes were born in 1991.
Nor do they care.
Right. They don't know nothing from nothing. And that's the way I like it.
Yeah. And the coach don't care. Joe Burrow certainly doesn't care. None of that is carrying over. The curse of Bo means nothing to these dudes.
Right. None of them was live. None of them played Tecmo Bowl.
Right.
None of them. Who's that big gigantic dude that wearing gray or silver and black running over everybody for damn near 200 yards?
But it means everything to like the fans. And that's where the problem is.
The ones that are still alive.
Right. The fans are the ones that are most anxious about this whole thing. And if you can get past that part, if the Bengals can get past that part and win that game, it's a floodgate situation. If the things work out, it's like you said, it's on to Nashville. And nothing about Nashville offensively scares you. Yeah, Derrick Henry. But if you wind up stopping that, Ryan Tannehill is not
booty.
Yeah, he's not good. So you're gonna have an opportunity to, make a run here, but you got to get off the snide in this one. You can't like leave them in the game. You can't let freaking Derek Carr come across the country and win a playoff game with an interim head coach. You just can't do it.
Right. You can't do it. Yep. This game, this is I was trying to give a number in millions of dollars, how much this game is worth to Cincinnati and the Bengals as a franchise. This game is probably worth, I'm gonna say at least. I think it's gonna be like. I was gonna say at the minimum $100 million. And it's more. It's worth. You're right. It's probably worth more than that.
Yeah.
If there's gonna be a stadium build after this, how much money goes?
Facility.
Right. Right.
All that.
All that. I mean, every win in the playoffs to Joe Burrow is probably worth at least $10 million a year.
Well, I mean. They need to win. They have
everything. You can't. The only thing that would make this better. Only thing that would make this better is they play the Steelers.
Yeah.
and the history with the Steelers is worse. That would scare me more, right? Than playing the Raiders.
The would be worse. Yeah. So
right. What other? Sorry. Yes, sir.
No, I'm just saying. I've been contemplating buying gear ahead of this game. I'm in Florida, obviously, so it's not like I can go anywhere. But I also have my own freaking superstitions or whatever. Last time they won the AFC North, not 2015. I think the year they played the Chargers. And I went out and I got all my stuff. I'm sitting there with my big box 50-inch TV. I'm like, and Gio fumbles and I fell apart.
All right.
So I'm afraid. Got it sitting in my cart, but I just cannot pull the button on that trigger, man. I just can't do it. I was like, you know what?
I thought that was Jay Schroeder was the quarterback for that team for the damn Raiders.
Yikes.
All right, I thought it was fucking Marinovich.
No, God no. So I'm thinking about that. I even looked up. I was like, if I flew up there from here, and then, obviously not go to the game. Well, the flying up isn't the issue.
No,
nobody's flying. The prices are. That's not the issue.
No, that ain't
I
the
wasn't
issue.
thinking about going to the game because the games are like tickets are like 150, like in the nose. But my what do you say? My blood is thin. I can't be cold like that anymore.
You could do it.
So
if you knew. If
they
you
was
knew
gonna win,
that the Bengals right. If you knew that the Bengals were gonna win, you would want to be there. I would want to be there.
Right, but I don't know. I'm like, all right, well, let's go to Nashville. It'll probably be colder there. So anyway, I haven't bought. I'm saying I'm cheating. I'm trying to upgrade my gear. That's basically where I'm at. I'm like, if they win this game, as I said a couple of weeks ago, take my credit card because I'm gonna be on fanaddicts.bengals.com calling people we know in Ohio, like, hey, can you ship me something, please? I'll Zelle you the money.
Yes. So as you can tell on the video, you see what I'm wearing. I think.
Yes.
So this is right. So this is a year or a season behind. So maybe I have to upgrade. Yeah, it should cost me a lot of money though. But I'll upgrade this too. So you want to break down who you think's gonna win this week? AFC, NFC.
In the other games, I haven't nearly even studied. I mean, I'm really in a. I haven't. I don't care.
You gotta care because
Steelers lose, please, because I don't want to see him anymore. I will probably.
But you know what though? I do want the Steelers to lose. I want to see Big Ben cry a lot. However, if they beat them blankety blanks, you want to talk about the shit being wide open. The Steelers can go into Tennessee and beat the freaking.
Correct. They just beat them in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago.
Right. They could beat them. And then if they do that and we could take on the Bills or the Patriots.
Right.
We could take. I'm not afraid of the Bills or the Patriots either.
Correct.
And like I said, if the Steelers take care of business, if that scenario works out, we have to work for the Patriots, I guess. But yeah, the Patriots won and the Steelers win. Then guess what? There's an AFC Championship game in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I can't get that far down the road. I can't cheer for the Steelers for nothing. I don't want to see. I don't want to see freaking Patrick Mahomes again. My blood pressure also doesn't want to see it.
All right.
But the option of cheering for the Steelers to make that happen.
I'm not cheering for the Steelers. I will watch the game. Hey, if it's GG, I wish you end in a tie and they both go out. But
perfectly fine with that too.
Right, but if I had my druthers, the teams I'd rather face next week or the next game, I would like to see the path of least resistance. And I don't want to go to Arrowhead. Arrowhead is the last place I want to go to play a game of all the other places to go.
That's fair, especially after what we.
They'd be waiting for our ass.
Oh, they're gonna be waiting.
Right. You get past that arch, them motherfuckers gonna be like, we've been waiting for y'all motherfuckers, and they're gonna try to put up 60, and they could too, and they will try.
Yeah. So I'll take the Chiefs. I'm taking probably Buffalo because they're the home team, I think. And then obviously I'm taking the Bengals. That's it. I have no idea who even is in the NFC playoffs. So
who's in.
I don't. I really don't. I'm an East Coast rap person, man. I know West Coast rap exists.
NWA.
Primarily studied.
You know who them folks.
But it wasn't where my heart is. My heart's in AFC.
I got you. I know where your heart is, but so how about this? Let's throw that in here. What team in the NFC would you, if the Bengals made to the Super Bowl, what team would you like to play in the NFC side?
Oh, the Cowboys, because they're going to choke it away.
I would love to go. I would love to go after the 49ers.
Oh, I don't know if I can live through that again.
I mean, we'd probably be a dog to them too, but they'd be
Yeah.
close. But yes, yeah. Where is Super Bowl at this year? Shit, that's another. It's not in Vegas. It's where is it?
No, I don't think they're ever gonna hold that shit in Vegas because as small as that stadium is. God, dog, where is that thing? I think I asked Goat Killer that earlier this week. I can't remember where it is. Is it? It's warm site. Is it? Not in I think Dallas. Remember there was that rumor that Aaron Rodgers was going to boycott.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's in California. So is it at SoFi in Los Angeles? It's either there or in the 49ers stadium.
Yeah, it's in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah,
SoFi.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn. Yeah. And well, yeah. That would, man. I would love to bury all the demons that we have in one fell swoop.
Look, C.A. Uzama said, "Why not us?" And he's not wrong. And if you watch all the TV shows, like all the NFL prep shows or whatever, the expert analysis, nobody really wants to play the Bengals. Like, not really.
The Bengals, the Bengals.
Offensively, you don't want to play them because, it's a stress-inducing event, I'm sure, when you line up them three dudes out there.
Every team that's on the AFC side got some holes on the defense, big holes. And we're 4-0 against those. We're 4-0 against the teams that are in the playoffs right now on the AFC side. So, right, we put up big numbers on those teams we beat.
Right.
The Bills do not have a great defense.
No, and the Patriots do, but their offense is limited at best.
Right, and the Titans are. We beat the Titans last year with nothing. Yes.
With Derrick Henry.
Right, with nothing. I mean, there was no way in hell we should have won that game, and we won going away. I think
going away.
So you take them shits. The AFC is if you can get past. We figure out a way to get them Chiefs to go away. I mean, the world is open.
Right. Again, it's a why not us situation, but we're putting the cart before the horse. Let's just win on Saturday. Let's our podcast at 8:30 on the 15th. Be like, man, I can't believe it. It was a great game. Drink. And I'm
tore the fuck up.
Yeah,
I am so right. Yeah. I am so.
Let's rip off all of the band-aids that have dogged us. Primetime games did that already. Steelers scored 82 points. No, what was it? 41 and 24, 65, 66, something like that. Like. That's it. Lamar Jackson had never lost to him, beating, once, and he wasn't there the second time. Like all of those things,
gone.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
So in 1991, you were 2021?
Ish.
Yeah. Ish, right? And I'm 20, I guess I was 23, 24, something like that. Nigga, you got a damn 17-year-old kid almost.
Exactly. Yeah, and his response was, yesterday was I wish they would just go ahead and win it this year so I don't have to live through this. Just get it out of the way. The sentiment is well taken and well
definitely. Right.
Like, you know what? Like, I don't want to be chasing this, no pun intended, for your entire life, waiting for it to happen. Because look, everything that's gone the Bengals' way this year, they're relatively healthy.
And then some.
They're relatively healthy. You can't guarantee that shit. Joe Burrow tears his knee last year. Like you can't guarantee Chase is gonna, be healthy next. Like not everybody's gonna be older. Who's gonna get the big head? Like
nothing. You can't take. Why not us? Take this shit now.
Yep, this is it.
Right.
Oh, I think I just walked right into our exit music.
Kenny Loggins.
Yes, sir.
Well,
although that does have a negative Bengal connotation because was that Carl Pickens or Corey Dillon threw his gear in there and was singing "This Is It."
Oh yeah, it could have been both of them.
I think it was Corey Dillon. I think it was Corey Dillon.
I should have about 2 weeks ago. The song I was thinking about. We should have been "Lose Yourself."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could take that too. It's
Yeah.
a more contemporary thing, but I mean, people that listen to this are all over 40 years old.
Right, right.
So, yeah. All right. Well, so you're going to do Eminem, Lose Yourself?
Why
Detroit.
not?
Okay. So as Eminem, starts to
What
play
the
us
hell?
out, remember, I'm the producer of this podcast. We may have a second content for y'all. I have to look for it, but we may go back and watch the Curse of Bo game.
I just looked at the stats for that. That motherfucker, I thought he ran for like 90 yards on that fucking play. He didn't score.
Nah.
He only had 77 yards.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah. We're gonna maybe go back and look at that on a condensed copy.
Maybe not. That was
And I know,
that
yeah, that was bad.
that was right.
That might be incurring some of the wrong kind of mojo.
Yeah, just let it be. We can play the Beatles on that shit.
So hopefully y'all will see us Saturday night.
Yeah, if we don't win, there ain't no way in hell we doing that podcast.
Yeah, hell to no.
Right.
But when they win, I'm gonna be positive. We're gonna be on Facebook. We're gonna do this. We'll be Facebook Live. We'll do it all, man. Y'all can all jump on and be like, yes, celebrate with us. This is gonna be it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Right,
it's gonna be a crazy day and night.
Right. So, yeah.
Yes, join us. And do something on real quick as M starts to play us out. People are like, some people is trying to, what's that gatekeep Bengal fandom or whatever. It's like,
gaslight?
No, gatekeep.
What
like,
the hell is gatekeep?
If you weren't down with us when we were, in the gutter, then you can't jump on the bandwagon now. Shut the hell up. When this bandwagon is open, jump on, man, please. Anybody that wants to get on now that jumped off because they didn't want to live through all this bullshit, that's totally understandable.
Right. The Bengals do not discriminate at this. If y'all show up for the damn Super Bowl, hell, even then, come on in, shit.
Yeah, exactly, man. If you were like, you know what, I mean, even think about it like this. If you were just like, you know what, I can't take Marvin anymore. Which was us. Well, you specifically.
Oh hell yeah!
I just can't take Marvin anymore. He had, this relative success, 7 years in the playoffs.
7 out of 15 or
yes, that's good. But after a while, it was not able to, to seal the deal. And it's just like, you know what? I just can't watch them anymore. It's the Mike Wilbon situation. I can't trust the bank.
But there's a couple of questions we might have missed out on. Who do you want to do the speech? Who's doing the speech for the hype game? Who's hyping at 4:00?
Oh, I told you. I'd say either Boomer or probably TJ.
Who?
That's TJ Husmanzada.
Man, you can't have none of them losers shows up.
No, but who's a winner that you're gonna have him come and do it? Like somebody outside of the organization?
Most definitely, you gotta have somebody. Hell, where's LeBron? What's LeBron James doing on Saturday?
Nah, he's a Browns fan. He ain't coming.
Clooney
can come and do it. He's a Bengals fan.
Hell yeah, bring that motherfucker in there.
Yeah, Clooney. But those dudes don't know who the fuck George Clooney is. They don't give a damn about George Clooney.
Well, then who do you think they do give a rat's ass about? That's another thing.
That could come in there. Chad
can't do it.
But Chad's not a fiery dude.
Or he is, but against women.
Punching people.
Right. We can't have that shit. Let's see here.
That's a great question.
I was going to be like, The Rock?
Yeah, but he has no ties to the city or to the Bengals. It has to be somebody that has some sort of tie.
If you want to tie it, the only motherfucker that was successful in Cincinnati, hell, in football anyway. No one knows who Munoz is. He's that dude that sells Modelo. And we can't even drink it because half of us underage.
Yeah, no, it had to be. Somebody that they may possibly recognize would be Boomer because they seen him on NFL Today watching football.
Boomer's the a-hole.
Yeah, but he's fiery to say the least. You can't, he got love for the Bengals. You can't bring Collinsworth in because he's not again, they would know who he is, but from watching Sunday Night Football, but they don't care.
They don't care.
No, I don't know, and there's no this dude reps Cincinnati to the fullest.
and
and
won.
and like won or didn't. I mean, there's
You
not,
can't have James Brooks. You can't have
yeah,
Icky.
Joey Votto, like somebody from the Reds or something. You know what I mean?
Barry
Like
Larkin.
nah, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, but the guy, they really wouldn't know who he is.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This. I mean, we are scraping. I mean, even our celebrities are scraping. Other than, I mean, George Clooney is big enough, but nobody. Like I said, ain't nobody seen his shit.
Mm-hmm. What's that white comedian that worked on Comic View all the time? Gary
Sanders?
No. There's some white comedian, he's from Cincinnati, that he worked. He's like the one white dude that won Comic View.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, we had to wrap this shit up. All right. I'll put that out on a poll to see who they think should be the hype person for the Bengals to get the team all fired up. I don't know.
Because the Raiders gonna pull out everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got fans, but
ain't no fans there'll be about 10 fans at the damn.
And don't sell your damn tickets. And don't sell your damn tickets to Raiders fans, Bengals fans. Do not do that. That's not the move, the way at all. Stop doing that. I know why you do it, but stop doing that.
Right.
Okay. All right. So again, as Eminem is starting to play us out continually, I am the producer on this podcast, and I'm signing off. Hutch, sign off, man. What's your score prediction?
Bengals 30, the Raiders 20.
That sounds about right. I was thinking 34-21, something to that effect, covering easily.
Covered, right.
Because,
we're tore. I'm tore by the third quarter. I mean, I am sudsy.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with that. All right. We'll see everybody on Saturday night, hopefully. Who Dey, y'all. Peace.
Who Dey.